Hey y'all, it's Renika. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Renika. I'm a singer, songwriter, audio engineer, producer, portrait painter, and so much more. I'm all about positive vibes, personal freedom, and creative expression. Now, let's get into today's very, very special video.
Passion, Insta, sweat beats, feel me.
Today we are going to be discussing the one, the only Aaliyah, who I have a painting of right here. I did this painting maybe over like 10 years ago. For today's video, I had to put on my favorite glasses. They always remind me of this painting and how she looks in her age ain't nothing but a number era. These are definitely giving those glasses. I'm probably not gonna have these on for the whole video, but I just wanted to ease you into the vibe. Aaliyah has always been someone very special and integral and influential when it came to my own personal music journey. Before I even knew that I was an artist myself, I was feeling pulled and called to Aaliyah and to her essence, to her voice, to her beat choices. I just felt like she resonated with me from such an early age. And it's so, you know, I'm not even going to go into the fact that she is not presently physically with us, because I honestly just want to spend this video celebrating her and celebrating her art and celebrating what I believe to be her true magnum opus, her self-titled album, Aaliyah. Aaliyah was released on July 7th, 2001. It includes production from Buddha, J-Dub, Rapture, Eric Seats, and Timbaland. Writers on this album include Stephen Garrett, also known as Static Major, Missy Elliott, Benjamin Bush, Jonta Austin, and Daryl Bobs. The album singles were We Need a Resolution, Rock the Boat, and More Than a Woman. Guys, why am I actually shocked how many songs were produced or were written by Static Major on this album? Like, I have definitely heard of other people giving Static Major their props, and I know that he has had a hand in some 90s bangers, but I did not realize that he was the prominent writer on this album. Like, where have I been? Okay, these are gonna come off now. Aaliyah was recorded in LA, New York, and Australia while she finished her movie Queen of the Damned. Aaliyah sees Aaliyah stepping into womanhood. To me, this album feels like power, fieriness, and passion. In this album, she fuses multiple genres, including R&B, rock, neo-soul, even Latin. She doesn't play it safe in this album at all with the sonics, and I am in love with that aspect of this album. Her voice and the song topics felt more mature than her previous releases. Before you're even halfway through the album, you can tell that this is someone who has grown. This is someone who's moving into the next stage of their life fiercely and confidently. Now, I know that there are some people who are going to disagree with this take that I have, but I do believe that Aaliyah is Aaliyah's best album. I know that One in a Million was fire. It has some bangers on it. It definitely speaks to the time, and it changed the way that we hear 90s music with Timbaland's production and with Missy's songwriting. I know that that album was great. You know, it was beautiful. It was a classic. But I feel like Aaliyah's presence on the One in a Million album was a bit overcrowded or overshadowed by all of the other artists that were on that album, by all like the different cameos and by the cover songs that she did. I just felt like there were just so many other echoes of other artists that would pop up throughout that album, and I felt like we weren't getting enough of Aaliyah on her own, of Aaliyah in our faces. It was just very much so like other people still having the reins a little bit. And the way that I'm referencing that, I guess, would be like her first album. We all know who she worked with on that album, and she was very young at the time. I doubt that she had much of an influence or much of a say in who she was going to show up as an artist and like sonically sound. And this is not to say that she didn't have anything figured out or whatever, but at that age, I just doubt that she had as much of a say or as much awareness as someone who is older. I mean, that was a rambling sentence just for me to get to that point. But you know what I mean? I feel like when we get to Aaliyah in her self-titled album, we have a woman, someone who is not afraid to mostly stand on their own, because when you think about the features on this Red album, you have Timbaland and Static Major, and honestly, I can't recall if there's even other features on this album. I don't think that there are, but that's my point, is that this is an album where we actually get to see Aaliyah shine. We get to hear her shine. We get to hear her strength come through, and that is what makes this album so special to me. Well, it's special because of that, but it's also special to me because I feel like sonically, this album is kind of the perfect culmination of everything that I love in music, and the blending of genres, and I feel like set the foundation for exactly what I would want to do with my music, which is blending things like R&B, soul, rock, jazz, Latin. Like, this album was a melting pot of genres, but it still worked. It still was wrapped up in a tight little bow that said Aaliyah, and you felt it, you understood it. By the time that you got to the end of the album, you knew 100% that this was an Aaliyah album, and nobody else could have did it the way that she did it, even through fusing all of these different elements, because she was sure of herself. Her vocals were so syrupy and strong on these tracks. I honestly could just go on, but I did want to get a little bit deeper into the breakdown of some of these songs and what make them stand out for me. In my re-listen of this album, the first song that really stood out to me that I wanted to discuss in this video is Never No More. Never No More talks about something that I don't hear brought up enough in music, and that is the topic of domestic violence. I know that this is a super sensitive topic, and I have not been in a domestic violence situation myself where I've been harmed, but I've witnessed it. And I just appreciated that Aaliyah used this place in her album to shed light on something that is so serious and so unfortunate, and a reality for a lot of people, unfortunately. In Never No More, she repeatedly tells her lover to not touch her again. Don't put your blood clot hands on me, okay? That is what she's saying to this person in her life. And I think what I found, which was very interesting, and I realized that on this re-listen, was that in songs like Never No More, I Refuse, and What If, is Aaliyah representing a woman that fights back, even though she does get into these unfortunate and messed up as situations and runs into these ain't shit ass people. She still knows like what her worth is, and that, you know, if I gotta walk away from you, I'm gonna walk away from you, and I know that I can do that. And I feel like that was definitely, even though she's being so vulnerable in these songs, you can tell that she still has this fire that comes through within these lyrics. Whether or not she's the one that actually wrote them, the way that she delivers it and the actual message of the song really brings it home for me. I have to give a shout out to Static Major for penning this song. I think it's just so important to get this topic out there and to make sure that people are aware that this is something that does happen, and aware that you can always reach out for support, for help, that it doesn't have to be your reality. And I love that the message of this song is, you're not going to touch me again, okay? Even though she's in this situation currently, she is refusing to stick around and to be disrespected or harmed. I love the production on this album, y'all. Like, when I heard Extra Smooth come on, to me it honestly sounded like a super spy or a detective or some shit tiptoeing slowly. Like, why does Extra Smooth's intro sound like a tiptoeing super spy? And then you have Read Between the Lines, which brings in this Latin element to the album that I feel like oddly works. I don't think it's supposed to work in the grand scheme of things or in like this logical sense, but for some reason, this song fits so perfectly in with the rest of the album sonically, and it's honestly one of my favorite tracks on the album. You Got Nerve reminds me a lot of Michael Jackson. I feel like this was Aaliyah's Michael moment, and I think it works for her. I really would have loved to hear her do a little bit more of this kind of sound and this kind of work. I feel like something about this song as well reminded me of a movie scene. Actually, this entire album reminded me of a movie, and a song like I Refuse feels like a climax. You have these crazy strings and this big climactic moment that occurs towards the end of the song. Unsurprisingly, when I looked into the production of I Refuse, I found that J-Dub, the producer of the song, is a film soundtrack lover. He was going for that haunted cinematic type of beat. He's quoted saying, "I started off with a basic piano and everything else I just built off of that. When she finished the vocals, I went back in and added the orchestra." I Can Be and What If see Aaliyah leaning into the rock genre. It's been said that Aaliyah was a big rock fan, with Nine Inch Nails being some of her influences. I Can Be is another song that touches on a subject that we don't often hear in music. Aaliyah presents herself as a woman okay with being the other woman. And What If gives us a tale of a woman who isn't afraid to go off and lose her on her lover if he tries her the wrong way. You know, I kind of forgot that Try Again was included on this album. I think that I'm just so used to Try Again being from Romeo Must Die's soundtrack that I just didn't realize that they also put it on the tail end of this album. And when it came on, it honestly felt so fitting. Like, remember I said earlier how this album feels like a movie? I feel like if this album is a movie, Try Again was the perfect ending song credit scene, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, that actually is the ending song credit scene from Romeo Must Die. That would make a lot of sense, but beside the point. Anyway, Try Again feels like a triumphant ending to this story. It just makes me think of the song's chorus, "If at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again." It just reminds me of the confidence that Aaliyah oozes throughout this entire album. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to have something not work out the way that you thought it was going to work out, because lo and behold, everything is working out in your favor if you trust and believe that it is. I've had to personally learn this myself, and to understand that things that feel like setbacks, things that aren't really going my way or to my plan, don't necessarily mean that they are wrong or that they are not meant to make me better in the long run. Lyrically, this album does storytelling so well. I can go through any of these songs and find lyrics that are clever, stylish, sleek, and emotion filled. Specific lyrics that stood out to me after my re-listen to this album were from the track You Got Nerve. "See, your qualities are less than pleasing. I got more than one reason for leaving. It's time to close shop, open new chapters. See, new beginnings is what I'm after. Get your skeletons up out my closet. Don't make me lose it. I just might lose it." To me, these lyrics represent a lot of what Aaliyah is saying in this album, which is she's not afraid to walk away, and she's not afraid to stand in her power when it comes to a lover not treating her the way that she deserves. Even down to the chorus, "Who do you think you are? I can't believe you got the nerve." My huge takeaway from this album is the importance of putting yourself first and choosing yourself. I feel like through the core of this entire album, you find Aaliyah being at her most fiercest, her most confident, and her most assertive. For me, the most powerful line is when she says, "New beginnings is what I'm after," or at least that's what resonated with me the most, because I am in a season where I'm after new beginnings, and I'm not afraid to close any chapters that aren't offering me something that is sustainable, something that is healthy, something that is authentic, something that is truthful. Like, I want things that are new. I want things that represent the changes that I'm making within myself. I want to be able to look around in my life and fully stand behind every decision that I'm making, fully stand behind every relationship that I'm cultivating, fully stand behind every place that I'm letting myself be in, you know? To me, that resonates a lot with the message that I'm getting from Aaliyah in this entire album, which is that she is ready for a new beginning, to close old chapters. She is not afraid to walk away. She is fully who she is, and she knows that, she trusts that, she believes in herself. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, like, I've had moments of questioning what it is that I deserve, and or at least not being able to see it in a clear way. For a long time, I would feel bad for asking for what it is that I know that I'm freaking deserving of. And that's just not a reality to me. Like Aaliyah said, never, no more. It's not a reality to me anymore. I don't subscribe to what it is that made me not demand the absolute best for myself. I have definitely struggled from feelings of codependency and habits of codependency, and just feeling like I needed someone there with me in order for me to feel my best and in order for me to feel my most confident. But I'm in a place in my life where I'm okay with embracing whatever this season is supposed to be for me. I'm okay with embracing, well, not, I'm more than okay than embracing who I am, but I am happily embracing, not me moving the camera, that was freaking insane. Okay, I literally just messed up my angle, but it's fine. It's whatever. I'm at this place in my life where I am happily embracing all of who I am, the good, the bad, the ugly, the hidden, the seen, the everything. I just want to embrace all that I am, and I want to do it confidently. I want to do it fiercely. And what better way to do that than to invite the energy of Aaliyah's Red album into my life again, which I'm happily doing with this project. A song of mine that I feel like really lives in this era of 2001-ness is my most recent single, Come Alive.
I've been looking for something that you do. I've been searching far and wide.
Come Alive was produced by Galaxy Francis, and a lot of Galaxy's production choices easily remind me of something that could have been coming out at the same time of Aaliyah's Red album, if not included on her Red album. The synths on this song really remind me of that era. I sang a lot of the song in my lower register, especially my backgrounds, and I feel like I wanted to try to emulate the sound of more male vocals, but at the time I didn't have a male vocal to work with. I just had my vocal, so I just used my vocal and went as deep as I could go without sounding insane. If you made it this far into the video, you might as well like, comment, and subscribe, because you obviously love it here. Like, what else are you doing here this long, babe? All right, back to the rest of the video. Okay, music lovers, that is a wrap on our Aaliyah Red album discussion. Overall, I feel like Aaliyah is Aaliyah's magnum opus. I think that although One in a Million was a great album, I don't think that it is touching the solidified baddiness that is Aaliyah's self-titled album. The Red album sound was sharp, bold, fierce. Aaliyah's exploration of genres really greatly influenced me and the way that I approach music and my exploration of different sounds. I love to infuse any kind of rock element into my songs when I can, and I love that Aaliyah was able to do that with I Can Be and What If. So tell me, what do you think? Do you agree with me that Aaliyah's self-titled album is her magnum opus? And if not, tell me why. I don't think you're gonna convince me, but I would just be curious to know your opinion. And if you don't think it's her magnum opus, what do you think is? And tell me why it's One in a Million, because I know that's what you're gonna say. All right, y'all, this is the end of today's R&Bop episode, aka my music book club. I'm so excited to be doing this with you all. I'm having a pretty fun time, like, editing these videos and seeing it all come together and seeing it all come to life. I'm not quite sure what is going to be coming next in the R&Bop lineup, but just know that it's going to be an amazing artist, and it's most likely going to be a woman. That's probably going to be something that I'm focusing on a lot in this segment, is Black women, to be honest. Like, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I did have a moment where I thought about someone else that I kind of wanted to discuss, but actually, never mind. I'm not even going to go into that. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that wherever you are, you have so much love in your heart and that you are having an amazing, wonderful, beautiful day. I am going to go for a walk probably and enjoy the rest of my day. All right. And I will see you next time. Bye.